Good morning, witches. Welcome back to the channel. This is Hectorios. So this is going to be an Ancestor messages reading for the Sabbath and the full moon. So I just felt like doing one of those again today because I felt a strong ancestor energy going on with this Sabbath, and I've been having dreams of my own ancestors coming through very strongly with the Sabbath energy, or building up to it, I should say. And last night I actually had a dream, another dream. Like I said, building up to the Sabbath, I've been having a lot of dreams about ancestors and just the spirit world in general, and messages coming through. But last night I dreamt that my grandma came to visit and had a very deep personal discussion with me about some things. And then the dream shifted into more like lighthearted, like we just went grocery shopping together and we were just enjoying ourselves. And this is kind of funny but kind of weird as well. She put like several jars of pickles into the grocery cart, and in the dream I was like, what is she doing? Why is she getting so many pickles? And I love pickles, but I just thought it was peculiar and funny. And she opened up one of the jars of pickles and pulled one out and just started eating it there in the store, and she like looked at me and she giggled about it. And I just thought that was really, once again, peculiar and funny. And the dream progressed. It went on to other things as well, but that just stood out to me as like a really weird, peculiar thing, and also humorous. So when I woke up from that dream, it literally smelt like pickles in my room, and it has continued to smell like pickles for several hours since I woke up at midnight. The sun is rising now. But it has just lingered in here. It doesn't smell like it anymore because I've been burning incense and stuff, and some Palo Santo most recently. But now that I analyze it, you know, she did laugh about it in the dream, and she did make she made it into a thing of putting so many jars of pickles into the cart that it was like she wanted it to stand out to me. So I think it was intentionally done on purpose, so that when I woke up and then I smelled pickles in the room, that was her way of, because she was a very funny person when she was alive, and I felt like that was still coming through with her spirit. She did something in a funny way, but also in a way that would stand out to me, that, you know, to know that it was a real experience with her spirit. And thus the smell of the pickles in the room when I woke up connected to the dream, but also connected to the very real, very deep personal conversation that we had in the dream before that. So I feel like it was just a funny way of her letting me know, basically. So I just thought I would share that little tidbit of a personal story before I get into the reading. But I have been having several dreams of my grandma building up to the Sabbath, and once again also other dreams about some angels and different fairy spirits coming through, and also my astral experiences where I'm awake, laying in my bed, but I'm going into that in-between state And so I'm still aware that I'm in my room. I still see my surroundings as my bedroom, but the spirits come through and pass through. And I've been seeing a lot of angels and fairies while I'm in that state and giving me different messages and stuff like that. So I know that I'm not the only one who's experiencing these things during this time. And I felt like doing this reading in particular for the ancestors' messages would help you all as well if you have experienced something, and maybe this reading will give you confirmation of those experiences. So that's sort of what has driven me to want to do this time around. I don't always do the ancestor readings on the Sabbaths, but I felt like I should on this one. So now that I have sort of explained that and shared that story, I will go ahead and get into the cards. So this time I'm using the Book of Azathoth tarot cards. These were a gift from a friend of mine a while back. Now that I shut it without the cards in there, it's kind of hard to open back without their weight. But there you go. That's what I'm using. I don't know if the light's like blinding it out or not. Okay. These are the cards. I've used them in past readings before. They're kind of like really big and bulky, so they're hard to shuffle, so I don't really use them that much. But I love the images and drawings on them. Anyway, I thought that they would be, you know, that whole Necronomicon vibe would be more suited to an ancestor reading, so they're what I went with. Now I align myself with the Most High God and the Holy Spirit Hecate. Please bring through the ancestors that they may communicate their messages and guidance and advice and loving, beautiful energies to us through these cards, so that we may all be guided for the highest good of all. Thank you, and so mote it be. Divine Holy Ancestors, please give us your guidance through these cards and any messages that need to come through for the highest good of all. Thank you, and so mote it be. Very interesting. Hang on a second. So the first card that we get is the Seven of Wands. This is all about encouragement. I feel like the ancestors are telling us that we have their support. They're sort of letting us know that they're there, rooting for us. We might not always feel their presence or feel like we're supported at all. They may not always make their presence known to us, but they are there. They're watching. And, one time my grandma did come through to me in a past dream. And I asked her, what is it like in the spirit world? What do they do there? And she told me that a large part of what they do is they sit there and they watch us. Like we're putting on a play or a TV show or something. They watch us, and they feel, all of the feelings that are associated with that. Whenever we're going through a hard time, they feel sympathy for us. Whenever we're having fun and enjoying ourselves and having those good times, they feel happy. And they're observing that. And so I feel like this is just the spirits coming through, letting us know that they're encouraging us. They're on our side. They're rooting for us. And they want what is best for us. They want us to pursue what we love. They want us to protect ourselves and those that we love, our family, our friends. They're very much invested in our highest good, and they're watching, and they're wanting that for us, and they are supporting us. Another thing with this card is that, they're letting us know all of this because they want us to move forward towards our goals, towards our desires. Excuse me. That was partially part of the theme of my dream last night of my grandma. Sort of that knowing that they're with you and they're supporting you gives you more strength in your own life and in your own goals and the things that you need to do and what you're doing. So they're asking us to go forward. They're telling us that they are on our side. We have nothing to be fearful of or to worry about with their support, with them backing us. They're giving us that extra strength that is needed. Okay? So that's a beautiful card. The next card is the Last Judgment, or just Judgment. And this energy is all about some tough choices and tough situations that we all may be facing. The Judgment card, it's almost like life-changing choices and decisions and pathways. So if you're facing something tough and hard to work through or make a decision about, sometimes we're stuck with choices to where we feel like there's no good option or there's no Okay, now I'm being reminded of another message I channeled at the way back at the beginning of this year from Archangel Uriel. Well, I don't really know if he's an archangel or not. Some sources say he is. Some say he's just not an archangel, but a different type of angel. That's beside the point. But he had given me a channeled message saying that every choice that we make causes endings and beginnings. So every choice that we make creates negative outcomes and positive outcomes at the same time, and we have to accept that. There's not really any right or wrong choices ever. There's right and wrong in the sense of what's right or wrong for you in that moment, but that doesn't apply to everyone at all times. Okay? It applies to you and your path in your life. And even when you're following that truth and you're making choices from that place, your choices still create negative outcomes and positive outcomes. There's a balance to it. Okay? There's no perfection in that aspect and in that regard. This is something that we just have to accept. So this goes along with, the other saying, you can have the highest, best intentions when you're making a decision or a choice, and you could still cause harm anyway by making that choice. Because that's just the way that it is. There's balance in everything. Everything that we do causes harm, but also causes good at the same time. It's just the way that it is. And I'm just going to keep saying Archangel Uriel came through at the beginning of this year and really pushed that message through to me when I was dealing with some choices of my own at that time. But I could feel his energy sort of reminding me of that right now during this reading. So I feel like that is really important to address with this card coming up. If you're facing a tough choice and it's hard for you to make a decision because you think that there will be negative outcomes, or you think that one is more positive, don't think that way. Because either choice that you make will create negative outcomes and positive outcomes at the same time, and consequences and results. The way that you need to think of your decisions is, are you being true to yourself in that moment and what you feel is right for the highest good? Okay. Now this card is also it's about endings, it's about beginnings, but it's also about rebirth sometimes and resurrection of the past. So there may be some things that you need to revisit, because maybe some decisions that you've been making lately or recently, you haven't been true to yourself when you're making those decisions. So maybe there's some things that you need to revisit as well. Okay? And the final card is the King of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card to end this reading on. The King of Cups is coming in to remind us to be sensitive to other people. But I also feel strongly in this reading that it's also telling us to be sensitive towards ourselves as well. Considering the other cards before this, and considering how I ended the last card, if there's decisions that you need to revisit to see if you were true to yourself or not. I feel like this card is emphasizing that in a way. Because sometimes we don't choose what feels right to us because we feel like we put others above ourselves when we're being contemplative and considerate of the highest good. Sometimes we put other people above us and we don't consider ourselves, especially in negative situations and relationships. We might feel like making a choice that protects ourselves or cuts another person off, that's toxic at that time and at that moment, is selfish or is doing them harm, things like that. And it's like you're sacrificing your own self and your own well-being, and you're being inconsiderate towards yourself in situations like that. And when you make choices like that and you're not being true to yourself, you're not honoring yourself and your own highest good. So you have to keep that in mind as well. And that's not selfish. And it's not wrong. When you're protecting your own highest good, you know, we're all connected, we're all one. And when we are in a good place, we're of better service to the world and to the people in our lives. We're able to do more good when we are in a good place. And when we're in a bad place, we're not able to. And I feel like that's why this card is coming up. At the same time, this does not mean, or it's not to be used as an excuse to be cruel or insensitive. You can still stand up for yourself and stand your ground and be courageous for your own highest good. And also still be compassionate and sensitive to others as well. By the way, that how you do it. And because the Judgment card is coming up, this is something that's it will be a hard decision. It probably is a very hard choice or situation. And so I understand that it could be very difficult to differentiate between, you know, what is right and what is wrong in situations that are tough like that. But just to reemphasize, there's no absolute right and absolute wrong, other than, are you being true to yourself and to your own highest good and the highest good of others at the same time? There needs to be balance between those. They need to be on the same page. If they're not, then you need to revisit it and contemplate it more. Pay attention to your dreams, to your psychic insights, to your empathic feelings. That will give you more information and more guidance. The ancestors may be coming through to you in your dreams and giving you information and guidance. And it could be in a way that they're just letting you know that they're there and that they have your back. They may not necessarily really tell you what to do, but they'll be letting you know that they're there and they have your back. They're supporting you. They may just come through in that type of way. And in a way, I feel like they're also trying to remind us who we are from that level. So let me see if anything else comes to mind real quick before I end this. This is kind of going to call back to the previous reading I already did for this Sabbath. So once again, go watch that if you haven't already. but I'm feeling healing with this. Very deep healing. So what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say this is there's a deep healing energy trying to come through. And it's tied to this tough situation and choice that you need to make. But deep down inside, you know what is for your highest good. It's inherently in you to know what is right or wrong for you in your path. There's a murkiness around this, but you still know. And you also know that, or I should say the reason why you know, is because in one of these choices, it leads to healing for you. And that's how you'll know what is the right choice to make. The one that leads to your healing. We can all feel that. We can all feel naturally what is going to be for our highest good. But just once again, you can do that in a very sensitive, considerate, compassionate way towards yourself and also towards others. So think about that. And hopefully this reading helps you all. I hope that your ancestors are coming through to you and giving you the guidance. I hope they came through this reading and confirmed things for you. And I hope that you have a wonderful winter solstice and full moon. And good luck with your decisions and situations and paths. Thank you for watching. If you would like a private reading with me, get in touch with me through the links in the description box. And until next time, hail to the witches, hail Hecate, and blessed be.